Hey, Adam Weaver here with Weaver Outdoors, and I am sitting with Mr. David Perry over at his real estate office. So Dave's a good friend of mine. I think we've done 5 transactions together.
Yeah.
Selling, buying,
All right.
and my mom's house. So
Yeah.
5 times. I wouldn't work with any other realtor here in Northern Indiana. But Dave, if you just want to introduce yourself real quick, who you are, what you do.
Yeah, Dave Perry with Remax 100. I've been selling real estate for about 25 years now, all in this area.
So I'm in Northern Indiana, but I think a lot of this will be applicable to the state of the country and real estate.
Sure.
But if you're not in our area and you're watching this, that's okay. Find your local realtor. But if you're in Indiana, highly recommend Dave. I don't use anybody else. So Dave, just to dive in, kind of the target audience here who's going to watch something like this is younger entrepreneurs who are kind of getting up and running. And in my world, it's generally trades and blue collar businesses, landscapers, roofers, handymen. So when we look at the housing market in general, before we dive into specific to the contractors that I work with, what are we seeing in today's economy? It seems like you see both sides of the fence: buy, sell, don't buy, hold, interest rates all over. So what are we seeing right now in the housing market?
So we've definitely shifted, but right now we're almost identical to pre-COVID real estate market.
Okay.
So our numbers are our days on the market, all the stats nationally are almost exactly 2019.
They're not selling in 5 minutes anymore.
They're not, but they're not. So a definition of a balanced market. So you can either have a seller's market, buyer's market, or a balanced market.
Okay.
Definition of a balanced market is 6 months of inventory.
Okay.
In other words, it would take you 6 months on average to sell a house.
Okay.
We're nowhere near there now. At least in St. Joe County, we're about 30 days.
Okay.
We're still seeing some homes sell within days. We're seeing some homes take a little bit longer. The market slowed a little bit when interest rates went up.
Yeah.
That's been, year and a half ago now, somewhere in there.
I know we can't predict the future, but
do
we see any sort of, is it coming down or going up? Again, lots of promises on the internet and hard to know for sure. Do you have an idea of what direction that might go?
Yeah, so they just dropped a little bit about a week ago.
Okay.
Down to the low to mid 6s.
Feels good, I guess, compared to what it's been. But
we're not. You have to look at interest rates and keep it in perspective.
Sure.
Okay. For a long time, 8% was the 30-year average.
Yeah. Okay.
I bought 2 homes at 8%. We didn't even talk about interest rate.
Yeah.
Because that was a normal interest rate. After 9/11, when the economy really slowed down, to spur the housing market, the Feds dropped the interest rate to 6%.
Okay.
Okay.
So
and the
back
market
to
took off at 6%.
Sure.
So we just kind of got used to 3s.
The threes, and not to share all my numbers, but I think I bought when it was just starting to take off. So I probably oversold my house, and I probably overpaid for the next house, but I'm still under 4. So we're hanging on to that for dear life.
So the biggest thing that's keeping the housing or the inventory lower right now are people like yourself, the majority of homeowners that are sitting on 3s and 4s
won't sell,
that don't want to sell to take out a 6.
Sure.
But at some point that'll just kind of even out.
Yeah.
I mean, life happens and you need to move.
Sure.
6 is not a prohibitive interest rate.
Right.
There is no thought right now that interest rates are going to go back into the 3s and 4s.
Okay.
We might see some high 5s, but 3s and 4s are artificially low.
Okay.
And it's part of what caused the inflation, which then caused them to raise interest rates.
Sure.
So I doubt if we'll see those anytime in the near future.
So that's kind of the rates. What about pricing? I mean, because obviously people were offering over asking price, and prices seem to just skyrocket through the roof. Is that still elevated? Is our supply and demand changing our pricing structure at all? Or
so it's leveled off.
Okay.
So we've not seen a dip. We don't anticipate seeing a dip. So we haven't seen
it's not coming back down
like we have. But it's also, if you bought a house 2 years ago, the house is probably worth pretty close to what you paid for it.
Okay.
Now it's not going to be 20% higher like it would have been if you bought it in 2020.
Sure.
Going over 2 years. But we're also not seeing a dip.
Okay.
And really don't anticipate that.
So if you're on the seller side and you do want to maximize, the most profit or revenue you can from selling your house.
Yeah.
What are some of those things that sellers can do to prepare their house? And then we'll transition this conversation into, if there's services that they can hire out, you know, what can our younger generation of entrepreneurs coming in be offering to those sellers, realtors, et cetera, to maximize value in their home?
So, I mean, to maintain or to increase your home value, it's basic maintenance. You know, I always, if I have somebody that's going to be on the market soon, some of the by far the two best things you can do is paint and flooring.
Okay.
For, you know, you get the best, you know, the house is going to show better. It's some of the less expensive things you
looks
can do.
fresh.
Paint's not expensive, flooring,
sure,
it's not cheap, but it's less expensive than a lot of other things you can do.
Yeah, it's cheaper than a full kitchen renovation.
Yeah, absolutely. So just doing some basic home maintenance and maintaining. You know, I always say, you know, if you're not going to sell for 10 years, maintain your lawn.
Yeah.
Because you can't.
Stripes matter.
Exactly. But you know, if you're gonna like, hey, I've got to sell in 6 months, and you haven't maintained your lawn in 10 years, it's tough to get it back.
Yeah.
You know,
curb appeal matters too.
It absolutely matters.
You know, in our world, the landscaping side of things, that's the easiest thing you can do. Just radically change the way your house looks.
Yeah.
Pressure washing the outside of the house, taking those hedges and bushes and actually getting them under control. If you've got weeds everywhere and you've never edged the sidewalk, and I mean, even if you mow the grass, but you let a lot of that other stuff go. And when you talk about cost too, it's simple.
Yeah.
There's a lot of landscapers out there that do that stuff pretty inexpensively.
Right.
But even doing it yourself, the equipment's not that much. And a lot of times you don't need to buy the edgers and all the other things. You can just use the one weed whacker and clean up a lot of that stuff. So outside maintenance, really important.
Absolutely.
Is there any other things, you know, if you're selling your house and your roof needs repaired, are you seeing a lot of these people negotiating with, hey, I want you to fix the roof in the closing and escrow? Like, I feel like that's something that happened in the past, but now houses are just selling so fast. Like appliances and roofing, are we seeing major repairs, or people just selling as is right now?
No, that's one of the shifts that we've seen in the last year.
Okay.
So when, like after COVID, when the housing market really took off, we saw a trend for several years that people were not doing inspections or buying homes as is. They're waiving.
You and I did that on mine.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of that.
Yeah.
Saw people waiving the appraisal or the contingency of the appraisal, anyways. That has really shifted back to buyers, for the most part, are doing inspections now.
Okay. Normal?
So,
like what we would think is normal?
It's what it always used to be.
Sure.
You know, if you would have asked me 7 years ago, should we buy a house as is? I'm like, no.
There's no way.
It's like we never recommended that. But it just got so competitive that if you're going to do inspections, you probably weren't going to get the house.
Yeah, it just took too long.
Yeah.
And there was somebody else willing to just write a check and buy it as
they had 20 offers.
Yeah.
So why take one that was contingent on inspections? So the housing market has calmed down enough that buyers are starting to do inspections now, and we're getting into our normal.
Sure.
You might, you know, if your roof's bad, if your furnace is bad, you know, you might have to address some of those things now. Yeah.
Normal. Yeah. Probably the way it should be.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Any advice to, again, those younger entrepreneurs coming in that I know personally, just being around you and people you work with, sometimes you get those people that, hey, you know, mom passed and the house is in terrible shape and I need to hire the person who's going to gut it, or hire the person who's going to paint it or clean it up, and the contractors. If somebody's wanting to get into that space and make connections with, is it the realtor they need to connect with, guys like you? Is it the home buyers they need to be prospecting? Like, how do they get into that world to work with somebody like you, getting houses ready to sell?
You know, I'm probably biased, but I think having a strong connection with usually several real estate agents, because one's probably not enough. Yeah. You know, to keep your business going. But we refer out a ton of business. Yeah. So especially as people are getting ready to sell, it's easy for us to refer out, you know, any kind of contractor like that, if it's, you know, painters or a clean out or, you know, whatever, flooring or whatever it is. So having good relations with a real estate agent, staying in contact with them, doing a fantastic job for them.
is it personal relationships? Is it cold call, knocking on your door? Hey, I just wanted to drop a card off. Like, where do you meet a lot of these people? So practical advice for somebody trying to grow their business.
Right.
Should they be dropping into a realtor's office? I mean, are you even accessible, or should they be doing networking groups? Like, how, obviously just getting to know people and sharing word of mouth and building relationships is important.
Right.
But if somebody wanted to work with you or somebody else that's in this community, like, how do they even get in front of you?
Yeah, so I wouldn't discourage anybody from just popping into real estate offices. It's tough.
Yeah.
So, by far, if you had one agent that you knew well, that you could develop a relationship with them, do a little bit of work for them, and then have them introduce you to other people.
In the world of realtors,
yeah,
I'm sure you have a vast community that you're working together. It's not that everybody's competitors and you hold and share secrets. Like,
right.
For example, we're on the border of Indiana, Michigan.
Yeah.
You don't do Michigan, right?
Correct.
So I'm sure you have a network of people you're referring to all the time. That's only 5-10 minutes away.
Right.
So getting those personal relationships, getting a relationship with one good realtor is probably a great way to start.
Yes.
Go above and beyond, and that's where that word of mouth can really take off.
Like if I needed a contractor and I didn't have one inside my sphere, the first thing I'm going to do is reach out to my office.
Yeah, hey, who do you know?
Say, hey, who do you know? So we do a lot of referring to each other inside the real estate community. Somebody just walking in the door without a connection, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's most of us already have people that we work with. So
I'm not discouraging cold calling though, because it does, every once in a while you get lucky.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to drop in on 100 people and if you find one person that goes, you know what? I do need a roofer. I don't know anybody.
Right.
That takes an extremely large amount of work and dedication.
Yeah.
Encourage it.
Yeah.
But that's not something that's fruitful on day one.
Right.
So.
Well, I mean, if you don't have a relationship, cold calling can be the thing you do to start.
Sure.
Until you start to get a couple relationships, and then you work on, building those relationships more than the cold calling.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can get you started.
Perfect. Anything else that you would recommend when you're getting these houses ready? Like, are handymen being hired? Are you only going after formed LLCs, licensed, insurance, bonded? Does that certification? I mean, I guess it depends on, is it electrical or is it painting?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Can a new guy who's just getting started actually get in to do some of these type of
absolutely.
jobs?
Because they're hard to find right now.
Yeah.
The hardest thing to find is somebody that's willing to do small jobs.
Okay.
A lot of contractors just want to take on big stuff, so it's going to keep them busy.
The established guys, probably.
For a while. We really need somebody that had got, a stove that needs a burner fixed. That got some handrails that need to be put up. They're an hour job.
Yeah.
They're not going to pay a bunch, but.
So maybe that's a great way to get started. If you're already working that 9 to 5 or something and you want to get your own business started, that's the nights and weekends job probably that, hey, I can do an hour job. Or be willing to take your lunch hour and go get something done. A great way to just develop that relationship too.
Well, the bulk of the work that we refer out to as realtors is small jobs.
Okay.
We have obviously we have roofs and furnaces and we have some bigger stuff like that.
Sure.
That world's probably a little bit harder to break into.
Yeah.
Because there's roofing companies that we've been working with for 30 years. But that small handyman that's willing to do small stuff, you can make a fortune doing that. If you develop the right relationships and stay busy and do 5 small jobs a day, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That could be a career.
Perfect.
So.
Anything else you want to tee off here from last words of advice? Or
to me the biggest thing is from a contractor standpoint is the work. It's not enough to be good at what you do. So you can be a great handyman, but if you don't return phone calls, if you don't treat people well, if you don't leave the workplace clean, if you don't show up when you said you're going to show up, that will absolutely kill your business.
I am so glad you brought that up because, this is a conversation I have with a lot of the landscape guys that are coming in.
Yeah.
It's not hard to beat so many of these companies out there if you would just return a phone call or show up when you say you're going to.
Yeah.
I hear this for whatever reason, in the landscape side, especially stump grinding, tree removal, there's I called 4 different companies and they said they were coming and they never showed. Like, if you want to grow your business, answer the phone, call people back within 24 hours. Like, if you're in the middle of a job, you can't answer, that's fine. Call people back and then just show up when you say you're going to. And I love leaving it cleaner than what you found it.
When we refer somebody, you're a reflection of me. So if I say, hey, call Adam to get this job done, and you don't call him back, or you don't show up, or you don't do quality work, or you leave it dirty,
that's the last time you're referring.
That's a reflection on me. And I'm going to stop referring you. So that part of the job is extremely important.
For sure. Awesome. Great advice. And if you're in northern Indiana, all of Indiana, northern Indiana?
Mostly northern.
Northern Indiana, and you need a great realtor. I don't use anybody but Dave. So when you talk about, following up and doing what you say you're supposed to, like I said, we've been through a lot of transactions together, and you've helped other friends and family of mine, and just very grateful for you, and thanks for your time. And if anybody's got any questions or anything, comment, reach out. You want his information, I'll get you connected. So
happy to help.
Dave,
thanks, Adam.
Appreciate you. Thanks, guys.
All right.